see what's on TV, they see the movie, late night parties and, adventure all the time. No, Egypt is full of life. The US is not. You can travel all year round, and travel is so easy. In the US, normally you're planning maybe 6 months to a year in advance. So yeah, no, the Egyptian women are amazing.
Hi, I'm Julia, and this is Oh My Egypt project, the project close to my heart. It's about the women around the world who came to Egypt, sometimes by chance, but stayed by choice. We talk about identity, cultural shock, and the change, the hard days and the healing, and how this country can break you and rebuild you if you let it. There are no travel tips, there are real stories told by women who now call Egypt home.
أنا مش أجنبية هنا. يلا, let's see Egypt through her eyes.
Oh my Egypt.
My name is Aria. I am from the United States, born and raised. I'm a certified master coach. I moved to Egypt when I was 34 years old. I've been here now for 3 years. I live in New Cairo, and we are here today at Medinti for the interview.
I know too many Egyptians will be curious now why you came back. It was like accidentally per purpose. Just give us idea.
Sure. Yeah, it was actually when I was young, I would have never, if somebody told me that I was going to move to Egypt as an adult, I would have probably run away from home, just never come back. But somewhere along the way, I realized, in Egypt, there is life, there is community, there's just so much, there's security. And so my plan was to retire corporate as I approached 40 and come to live in Egypt and explore it and be something of a liaison and a communicator between Egypt and those overseas who wanted to know about Egypt.
Okay.
It was planned, but not for so early on. The plan was, to wait another few years, but things happened and turned out for the best.
For the best, for sure. When you came back, there was something which surprised you, or you didn't expect it will be like this?
Yeah, a lot actually. I would say the number one thing is the amount of English
Okay.
that I did not expect. And there are a surprising number of people who can speak English almost as if they were born and raised overseas. The accent is still there, but it's still very, very surprising. There was another thing that also surprised me, which is the number of small women-owned businesses that have been born in Egypt. It's amazing. It's truly incredible. So much potential, so much opportunity. It's beautiful.
Do you have any cultural shock? Still, you are Egyptian, but since you were raised far away from Egypt, there is something like shock, like tourist, or something surprised you more than just.
Yeah, as somebody who sort of speaks the language for the most part, one of the biggest culture shocks was how fast Arabic is now spoken.
Really?
Yeah, it's actually, it almost sounds like a whole other language to me now. I was raised overseas, and my parents were immigrants, and so they came from another generation, and that's the Arabic that I learned.
This is also I want to ask you, like, you learned the Arabic from parents only, or you studied somewhere also?
Oh, that's a long story. I went to a Saudi school that taught me how to read and write when I was young. I left early, so I forgot most of it. But my parents would force me to come to summer vacation in Egypt as often as possible. So I was forced to kind of, figure out how to get around. But I didn't have any Arab friends in America, so it was, on and off. It was a bit of a struggle. But I did have, the preliminary, at least, stuff to be able to get by when I first moved here.
So when you came here, you realized that your language is a little bit different.
Oh, very lacking, yes.
Interesting.
Very lacking.
There is anything uncomfortable for you now, if compared to US?
Compared to the US, the amount of bargaining that's required. You have to have really good bargaining and negotiation skills
Yes.
to get by
It's
here.
not in your blood because you are Egyptian.
Sadly, no. I wish it was. I can negotiate in a professional setting, but the bargaining for prices and things like I'm not used to that. I struggle with that quite a bit. I'm getting used to it though, little by little.
Okay, very interesting. But when you came back, there was any moment that you sit and think, what I'm doing here actually?
Oh gosh, a lot. Yeah. Yeah, it happens randomly. Usually it's because, having grown up in a corporate environment in the US, I'm so used to having access to people, networking, building community, just constantly being present around other people. But ever since I struck out on my own, started my own business, I don't have access to those communities and that sort of networking opportunity. And so there are moments where I find myself overwhelmed and I'm just sitting there, wondering, did I make the right decision? What am I really doing here? Am I supposed to be here? Or should I be doing something else? So yes, those moments do happen quite a bit. Are we still recording?
Yeah.
Okay. That's another huge culture shock for me, is the delivery.
Yeah.
In the US, they come by, they drop it off, and they go. Here, you have to communicate with them, you have to be present.
Yes, and I need to call you 100 times to double check your address. Why? It's already mentioned. This is for me also. Always, I'm always surprising. Why are you calling me? I give you all the details.
Like, come on, I already have it in there. Halas.
Alas, yes.
And some companies require that you open the package before the courier leaves.
Yes.
So, to check.
But this is not bad.
It's not bad, but it is annoying if I'm in a meeting or when I'm
because
coaching a client.
sometimes you're receiving something which is not actually the same. So one thing I want to ask you, how many times you were asked why you came?
Oh my gosh.
Why you came back?
If I could count how many times, I would be very, very, very rich. If I had a nickel for every time an Egyptian especially
Yes.
asked me that question, why would you leave the US to come to Egypt?
So why?
Egypt is full of life. The US is not, unfortunately. I grew up on the East Coast, in the DMV area where, life is all work, very little play. Here you have a culture and vibes that are just cafe, restaurants, malls, events everywhere, history, and just there's always something to do. And people here really put their social life at the forefront.
Yes.
In the US, it's you go to work, you come home, you sleep. The weekends are reserved for mostly your errands, your chores, maintenance, any sort of, important things that need to get done. So it's very rare to really just have a weekend for yourself, for your family, for your friends.
And for sure 2 days it's not enough.
It's not enough, no.
I remember when I was working in Dubai, it was same, like you are just working. You don't belong to yourself, working, and then especially there they have only 1 day off.
Oh my God.
So you don't know what you need to do, or to sleep, or to do some stuff, or to clean your flat, or to go shopping.
wow.
Like, what I need to do this week?
How do people live there?
I don't know.
Oh wow.
That's why we run. Yeah, it's also very tough. So when I came here, it's a huge difference. Also, I asked many times why you change this country to this country.
Yeah, why would wow. They asked
So,
you why from Dubai to
yes,
Egypt.
yes,
Wow.
So
Yeah,
many
because
times also.
they see what's on TV, they see the movies, and they see the and they think well, it's a life of late night parties and adventure all the time. No,
Yes, it's only
really
in the
not.
movies. Especially like there, you cannot go to the sea just to spend time because you don't have time for this.
Oh
so
my
people
gosh.
paying huge money to come and see you are staying there and you don't have opportunity.
Can't do anything. Yes, U.S. same thing. Oh my gosh, that's so similar.
as an Egyptian, did you love Egypt from far? Did you feel like you're still Egyptian, or you was feeling like more American there?
You know, I guess it depends on what your definition of Egyptian is. To me, to be Egyptian means to have the blood of my ancestors. It means to be tied to the land,
Okay.
tied to the history, you know, tied to our pride and the immortality that our ancestors left behind. In that sense, yes, I feel very Egyptian, and I'm very proud to be. Modern Egyptian, I don't know. I'm still trying to figure that out. I don't think I relate a lot to some of the modern cultural tendencies. But if somebody were to ask me, I would always say, absolutely, I'm very Egyptian.
You know what? I also was like always curious how it's to be Egyptian when you watching, for example, American movies, and you see Egypt in each movie, like or pyramids or some treasures
so
or
funny.
something. It's always Egypt. It's everywhere. Like only when I moved here, I realized like in each movie there is Egypt, and it's very interesting. How you feel in this moment?
I laugh.
Really? Not proud?
I mean, yes, proud, but also, you know, because it's a stereotype, you know, that Egypt is all just desert and pyramids and camels.
Yes. Okay.
And so growing up, you know, when I would tell people that I'm Egyptian, they would say, you know, do you
Oh,
ride camels?
Oh, really?
Do they have cars in Egypt?
Yeah, you know, this is the reason why I actually doing this podcast. Because of the stereotypes. So I want people to see more. Like even in my country, like still they are coming like tourists, but they are saying like what? They're on the sea, Hodos and pyramids. That's it. No, if you will just look at the background where we are sitting.
Right.
It's
Thank you for
something-
doing this. That's great. I love that. I'm trying my best to also grow something in a similar fashion. So I'm, you know, I think it's a great endeavor.
Yeah, and maybe like from your eyes, like a project also through her eyes. So through your eyes, we can show Egypt to the Egyptians who is living like you, like was living, or till now they are in other countries, and maybe thinking to come back, but afraid or don't know where to start. So what is your advice for them?
My advice would be to prepare from an early age. Even if you're not sure you ever want to come back, start building your finances and your plans and
like
your
to
investments early.
Put roots, yes?
Yes. Yeah. Put your roots down early. Because you just never know. Like I said, you know, once upon a time, if somebody told me that I was going to leave the U.S. to come to Egypt, I would have called them crazy.
Yeah.
There's no way. But when it happened quickly. You know, I turned 30 and I started to reevaluate my life and what I wanted out of life. And very quickly, within a year, I realized the place that I want to be is back in my ancestral land.
And your parents still there?
They're still there, yeah. My whole family is still, unfortunately, in the U.S. Yeah.
Okay. They don't want to come back?
Some do.
Uh-huh.
Some do. There are some challenges. You know, I still have a younger brother who's in college, and I also have a niece and nephews. So for me, being single, it was very easy to just pack up and
Yeah,
go.
of course.
You know, not so easy for the rest of them. You know.
Yes. I had questions in my mind, but they disappeared. What is for you like to put roots? What exactly they need to do?
Start with finances. Think very deeply about where you're going to put your money and how you're going to put it away. If you're going to invest in real estate, you know, do it early. You know, a lot of people, you know, and we're all guilty of it. I'm guilty of this too. You know, in our college days, even right after college, we want to live our lives. You know, we get a
We're
job.
not thinking like
We're not
this
thinking
far.
ahead, right? We get a job so that we can live. We can go out with our friends. We can travel. We can do all these things. We're not really thinking deeply about 30 years down the road, 40 years down the road. What do I want my wealth to look like? What do I want my life to look like? So that would be the number one thing that I would recommend, is really take some time to figure out how you want your financial landscape to look like.
And actually now too many compounds are building, they are
Yes.
building too many new areas, and I believe this is a very good investment, especially when you are paying from other countries.
Yes.
It will be not, like it's affordable, I believe.
It's about the same as if you were buying a home in the U.S., depending on where you are. So if you're, for somebody who grew up in the DMV area, yeah, it would be just about the same as, buying a house in, say, Springfield, Virginia, or, Bethesda, Maryland, or, any of these sorts of locations in and around
You want
that
to
whole
say
area.
that sorry, you want to say that the prices are same?
They're similar, yeah.
Seriously? So it's expensive here then.
It's expensive. It has gotten, I don't want to, can I say bad words?
We are talking about love to Egypt, of love Egypt.
I know, but I will say sometimes I see the prices here, and again I just laugh. I'm like, really? That's crazy. And it's it might be for a really small apartment, like a studio or something. And when I compare, I realize that in the U.S., in some locations, you can buy a full 3-story home with that kind of
So
money.
then how we can convince them to buy properties here and not buy there if
Because
it's same?
here it's real ownership.
Mm,
That's the difference.
okay.
Over there, it's a mortgage. You're still liable for a lot of financial obligations that if you don't pay, the government can take your home away easily.
Okay.
So the tiniest thing, you lose your home. It doesn't actually belong to you, neither does the land. Here, it's very different.
And actually here also it's very easy, like you're just giving money and you're receiving. That's
Exactly.
it. In too many countries, like for example in UK, when I found out how they are struggling to buy the property, there is too many documents, too many things they require, and also you cannot own it. Even if you buy it, it belongs to government, but you are like renting it for 100 years, for example. Or sometimes people buying half of the flat. So here you just need to give money. That's
Exactly.
it.
Yeah. And you pay it off in anywhere from maybe 3 years to 10 years, depending on the
Yeah, yeah.
terms. Over there, you're stuck paying for 30 years. So
All your life.
yeah, exactly.
So now, after 3 years, did you feel like you belong here?
I think so. For the most part, maybe a 90%. Well, I'd say maybe like a 70%. 70%.
Okay, so what is this 30%?
My tendencies and my mindset is still very based in the U.S. I don't want to say American because America is a whole continent. So, but it's very Western, and so there are some things I think that I will just never be able to get rid of in terms of my mindset, my behavior, my way of thinking, and so in that sense, I will probably never truly belong. But hopefully, hopefully Egypt's culture is going in the right direction for some
And,
reason.
and actually, did you notice, like within this 3 years, it's huge changes?
Oh my gosh, and it's constantly changing.
Yes, because we moved to this new in Cairo 4 years ago. So when I'm looking back, it's a huge difference. Did you change in these 3 years?
I think so, a little bit. I think the one thing I would say that has changed the most for me is I'm an introvert, and I'm a homebody, and I don't know if you've seen like the jokes on social media about how millennial introverts, and millennials in general, when somebody comes knocking on the door, we run and we hide. Don't bring it so they don't know you're home.
Yes, this is what I'm doing actually.
Yeah, me too.
I don't know why.
It's so bizarre, right?
I'm doing
Yeah,
it all.
Egypt has forced that out of me, whether I like it or not.
Yeah.
You have to answer. The bills, they come at the door.
Yeah.
Sometimes neighbors
Gas
will show
or
up.
something.
Secure everything, delivery, doesn't matter. Just surprise ring. Who's
And
at my
especially
door?
at night, in
Oh.
our country, we are not calling anyone after 8. It's not like for us, it's not
Yeah.
polite. You cannot disturb people. They are at home, they are relaxing, something. Here they can
They
call
don't
you
care.
for anything.
Anytime. And I always tell them, sometimes they'll want to like come and deliver something after 8, and I tell them nobody's going to be home. Nobody's going to answer the door after 8 o'clock. Stores are closed. That's it. We're done.
I remember another meme like when you get up at night and you run so no one will eat you. This is after 8 someone can eat me.
Yeah.
What do you actually love about Egypt?
Ooh, number one, the weather. Oh my gosh. The long days, the mild winters, just, not a cloud in sight. I love it. No high humidity except maybe in August, but the rest of the year, beautiful. You can travel all year round, and travel is so easy. In the U.S., normally you're planning maybe 6 months to a year in advance.
Okay.
Yeah. And good luck. Maybe there's bad weather, maybe there's not. Maybe there's bad traffic, maybe there's not. Maybe the 3-hour drive is actually going to be a 9-hour drive. You don't know. Maybe you'll have enough paid time off. You don't know. You're hoping. So yeah, it's an ordeal. But here, if you don't find a way to go off on your own, there's always travel groups, constantly traveling all year round. There are places you can go that are hours away that are only 1 or 2 hours away. You can choose. You can do a day trip. There's Fayoum, there's Ain Sokhna, there's Ras Sid. In the winter, there is Siwa. You can go south to Luxor, Aswan, Marsa Alam, like go to Sharm even, and there's just so much to do. So much.
And then you don't need to use airplanes even, just drop your stuff in the car and go.
Exactly. You got your car, you got your buses, you've got your train, and there's VIP buses and there's micro buses. There's 1,001 different ways to travel. And there's your rideshare stuff, city to city. It's so easy to get around. I love it. The travel here is and you don't have to plan it a year in advance.
Yeah.
Those are the two biggest things I love about Egypt. The third would be the social life. How easy it is to just call someone and say, you know what, let's go meet at this place. And if that place doesn't work, you can just hop, skip, and a jump away. You'll find another place easily. In the U.S., depending on where you are, I'm not a city girl, so I tend to live in I prefer the suburbs or the rural areas. And so it's usually very limited, the kinds of things that you can do. And it won't be like this.
And the people may be busy, yes? It's not
very
easy.
busy, yeah. It's not easy to, a prime example. There was a time for about 2 years where we had a perfect triangle. I was living in this house, my best friend was living in this house, and another very close friend was living in this house. We had a perfect triangle, and it was about 15 minutes apart each way. I'd just take the car and drive. And if I wanted to bypass the car because of all the, the turns and the lights, I could walk. It was a 20-minute walk. If we saw each other twice a year, it was a miracle.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah, that's how bad it is. Yeah.
But since you said that you prefer to live in this part of US, so in Egypt, which is your favorite parts to stay and to live?
I guess it depends. Right now I'm in New Cairo. I enjoy it. I do. I like the quieter life. I do miss walkability. I live in an area where there's not a lot of stores around. It's mostly residential. So I do miss a little bit walkability. When I used to come before, we would stay in a place in Heliopolis, and there were a lot of things within walking distance. But of course, it was really noisy and things like that. So
yes, here I don't know why they are building like this. Why not? There is no walking areas.
I think it's because people are just really maybe they're just starting to feel claustrophobic. And because the streets are really tight. The population is growing constantly. I think people are just ready to live somewhere quiet and find some peace of mind. And there's also, a lot of additional research and a lot of additional growth in the direction of like wellness and, mindset. And so I think that's pushing people more in that direction.
So, what did you like? What you will recommend a person who just thinking to come here, or for work, or for come back as an Egyptian, or for example, I don't know, the wife, another nationality. What will be your advice for them?
Visit the country a few times before you come, specifically so you can explore the areas, because you don't want to get scammed. You need to know where you're going and what you're doing, so you can do your research properly. And also get used to the culture, get used to the way things move, get used to the different cities and how, you know, the vibes there, so you can really understand ahead of time what you're, you know, what you're getting into. And learn some of the language.
Yeah.
Find a
It's
pen
important.
pal and you know, practice.
Actually, did you have any like difficulties to communicate when you just came?
I think, you know, maybe a little bit, but I guess I just took it slow. You know, I take it very slow, and if I don't understand something, I will ask for, you know, more information. So I guess I just took it in stride. So I wouldn't say I struggled.
Because for me, like what I noticed, for example, if you are saying just little bit not correct any sound, they will stop understand you. This is what actually for me demotivates me to learn, because I'm doing very like hard work to try to say this sounds and they don't understand me. So okay, so for what?
I think you just have to work with them. You know, just say, you know, try to make it clear to them what it is you're trying to say, and if they can figure it out, they'll help you. Yeah, I mean, I've had moments like that too, where I have, you know, Arabic's sometimes a tongue twister for me, Egyptian Arabic especially, and so I'll switch letters sometimes randomly, and I will get blank stares.
So even like I have like we had a meeting, there was a Sudanese lady, and she's saying like we pronounce water a little bit different way. It's not like Maya, it's more Moya. So she said that she struggled to order water in the restaurant because they cannot understand. I said, oh my goodness, even me, I will be like, I will understand what you want. It's easy.
I think they were just being rude.
Or maybe they just want to, I don't know.
I don't know, maybe they were just new, they were kids, they, you know, weren't used to dealing with a different version of their language. Could be anything, really.
And also, like, I'm the person who like travel in the Gulf part of like Arab countries. What I can say, like, they all understand Egyptian Arabic. You can, like, maybe Egyptian they cannot understand them, but they will understand, especially because they all grow up on the Egyptian movies.
Yes.
And they know Egyptian Arabic.
Yeah.
So to learn Egyptian Arabic, it's better, I believe, because in any country they will understand you.
That's true. That's true. It is very true. I recommend that a lot. So there's, I would say there's three. There's Egyptian dialect, the Lebanese dialect, and maybe Palestinian dialect would be Palestinian, Syrian, maybe the three that would be most understood across the Arab world, probably. But definitely Egyptian number one, because the movies.
There's pyramids everywhere
Yeah.
in each movie.
For sure.
There is something which you miss from US.
Yes, there are a number of things I definitely miss. But number one is family and the people that are important to me. In general, I miss them a lot. If I could just pack them all up and bring them with me. There's foods too that I miss.
Okay.
Not everything is available here. You know, edamame, as a prime example, was my favorite snack. It was always in my house. I'm struggling to find that here. You can find it in the restaurants,
Okay.
but I can't find, you know, edamame that I can just get from the supermarket and bring home. So Brussels sprouts, you know, dashi, there's things like that that just is very, very hard to find here, if you can find it at all.
But in US, you was eating Egyptian food.
A little bit, not a lot.
What is your favorite?
My favorite food? Japanese.
Japanese. Surprising. And what about Egyptian traditional? Which one is your favorite?
Ooh. What is my favorite? Growing up, I would say macarona bechamel was always my favorite.
Mm-hmm.
My mom's hawashi was also really good.
Did she
Yeah,
cook
yeah.
a lot of Egyptian food for you or no?
She did, yeah. But as we got older, I think we just stopped eating it because it was so heavy.
Uh-huh.
And so now we don't really eat it as often. But when we were young, yeah, a lot.
And what from the Japanese food you like?
Oh my gosh, everything.
Really?
I love Japanese food. I love that it's heavy on the savory. I love that it's packed with so many vegetables.
Mm-hmm.
You know, in the morning, they tend to kind of like, traditionally, there's fish, along with several other, you know, side dishes, sometimes fermented, sometimes not. The miso, the sushi, I mean, just all of it, even their sweets. Taiyaki is one of my favorite sweets of all time, and it is the one thing that I can never find. Just simple, traditional taiyaki with the red bean paste. So hard to find.
You maybe you are struggling here with this food.
Yeah, maybe a little bit. There are some restaurants that do some good, you know, Asian fusion and sushi, things like that. So I get by.
How often do you go there?
Oh man, probably at least once every other month, at least.
In general, like still you for a long time you was far away from here. Just can you like tell me about Egyptian men and women in general, how they are, the nationality of Egyptian, who they are.
Oh, that's a tall order. I wouldn't know where to begin. There's so many nuances and so many differences. Yeah, I mean, there's good and there's bad.
Of course,
you
and
know.
it's also depend of the personality, the person,
Absolutely, yeah.
each independent.
Yeah, exactly.
But in general, what is common for the nation?
What is common in terms of, I guess we could start with men. Ladies, don't date Egyptian men. just don't.
Okay, bye bye. I'm going. I'm leaving now at this moment.
There are some good ones. There are some really great ones, but you really have to dig. You really have to dig. The women, I would say, they surprise me in both good and bad ways. I think there's a lot of potential. I think that they have the potential to be incredibly kind. They're very studious. They're ambitious. I feel like the women are carrying the country, honestly.
Oh yes.
Economically, you know, everything they are definitely carrying the country on their shoulders.
Yes, because I want to say that it was from ages. Like if you will see the queens and kings of that time, how many there is women?
Exactly, absolutely. No, Egyptian women have been known since the very beginning of civilization for their strength
Yes.
and their competence and their ability to just get it done, you know. So yeah, no, the Egyptian women are amazing. You know, I think that the culture right now and the economic and political position that Egypt is in is putting a lot of pressure on people, and it's bringing out some of the worst in them. But otherwise, I mean, when they're really given a chance to thrive, they're amazing people. And very resourceful. Oh my gosh, give an Egyptian if they put their mind to something, they'll get anything done.
Yeah.
You can't stop them from doing what they want.
This is something common with Ukrainian women. If
Yeah.
we want something, so we need it now,
Yeah.
directly, on my desk, immediately.
Yes.
But when you came here, like how the people was treating you? Did they feel that you are Egyptian, the real one, or they treat you more like a foreigner? What is the difference?
I got treated more like a foreigner.
Uh-huh.
Yeah. Actually, it was interesting how many people would be surprised when I told them that I was originally Egyptian.
Ah, okay, they even didn't notice.
Yeah.
Interesting. And what do you do now here?
I run my own coaching business online.
With Egyptians or?
No. currently I am working with only native English speakers, so Europe and the North American continent.
Okay, so you have like a, to promote your services online, you have a company?
Yes.
Okay. There is any team working with you or you are alone?
I am currently alone.
Okay.
I am working on collaborations, different collaborations. Some I'm going to test in person here in Egypt and see how that goes. And others I'm going to test virtually and see how that goes.
Okay, and as a personal coach, like for some specific topics or general?
Yeah, so my topic, what I focus on is really people who, they feel stuck. They feel like they're on the verge of burnout. So I help clients get clear on what they really want, and then, find their way to alignment so that they can get out of that situation. I've been there myself. So
yeah, this is what I want to say. So maybe you can show them your way to prove like it can be anything possible.
Oh, it's if you're willing to put in the work and the time and the consistency, absolutely anything is possible.
Okay, nice, very nice what you are doing.
Thank you. I struggled for a time trying to find a resource like that, and I had no idea that coaching was a thing. And so it took me several years. I was in a really bad place. And I got to experience what that was like when I switched jobs. I was on a contract with the DoD doing leadership and organizational development for 6 years. And I was working with some of the best in the industry and some of coaches that have been around for 30 plus years. So I got to experience it and I got to see it and work with it firsthand, and I know how transformative it can be. So becoming a coach was a way for me to pay it forward, to be one of those resources for other people who are also struggling in the same way that I was.
So since you mentioned Egyptian men, I want to ask you one question. Do you feel different as a woman in Egypt and in US?
That's an interesting question. Maybe a little bit. I think here I'm a little intimidating for people. And if not intimidating, they see me as a ticket to, a green card or something like that.
Okay.
In the US, there were moments where, I would be so surprised because I was approached by very successful men very often. There were moments where I would find guys tripping over themselves looking at me. I'm not used to that. That's, I grew up in a very different kind of environment than that. So yeah, it's a very, being in the US, strong women who maybe come off as a little intimidating, who are successful, they tend to be desirable. They tend to be, something that is seen as very sexy, very beautiful. Here, it scares them, I think. I don't know. I think Egyptian men have a lot of pride, and they want to be able to feel like they are the real masters in their lives. And so when they're with successful women who have strong personalities, who know what they want, they turn away from that.
So you want to say that to be a strong woman, it's difficult to be in Egypt?
It is, yeah.
Let's go through the stereotypes. This is the main topic I want to to know people that's different. So there is too many stereotypes we know about Egypt. And as your opinion, what is totally not true?
What is totally not true? The number one thing I think that I have encountered in the US is safety in Egypt. Is it safe? Because, we're in North Africa. Regionally, we're, the center of the Middle East. One time I actually told the CFO, at the time I was working directly for the CFO, and I said to him, I'm going to Egypt for a couple of weeks, but I'll be back, just vacation. I do this often. And he said to me, he looks at me, and he kind of stops, and he looks a little nervous. And so I waited to see what he was going to say, and he said, is that okay? Are you going to be able to come back?
Seriously, so this much big?
Yeah, can you imagine? I was like, What? Are you serious? I was like, no, trust me, it's probably safer than here. You know, it's safer than the U.S. Egypt is one of the safest places that I have ever been in my entire life. You know, a single female living in this country. It's a country that never sleeps. I can be going out or coming home 2 o'clock, 3 o'clock, 4 o'clock in the morning. It's no different than going out or coming home at 7 p.m.
Yeah.
You know, I don't have any, you know, weaponry with me. I don't have to carry a, you know, a pew pew. I don't want to say the word because
Yes, you know, this is
Yeah.
actually the reason why I never will move to this country, because there is people they can keep it in your house,
Yep.
and you don't know in which situation people, like the person can be now, can struggle about what, nervous, and he maybe doesn't want to make it, but he will do it because he has it.
yeah, some people are really, yeah, they've gotten that bad. I used to sleep with one under my pillow.
Oh my goodness.
Yes, because you know I was alone, 3-story home. You know, it was small, but it was tall, and so I couldn't always hear what was going on downstairs. I had security system with glass break. I even had knives, you know, placed around, like hidden in the house, just in case somebody broke in, and I wasn't, you know, upstairs. I mean, that's how nervous I was. I once came home. I only lived 20 minutes from my parents. You know, I really wasn't far. It's a really nice location. I had a veterinarian hospital next to me. I had a plaza next to me. There was the, you know, the public library next to me. It was a very family friendly place. There's a playground right in front of my house. And I'm coming home one day. It's maybe 9 p.m. I came home from my parents' house. I had a few shopping bags in hand. My exterior lamp had gone out, so it was kind of dark. But the houses are attached to each other, you know, so the whole neighborhood can see and hear anything that's going on. I hear a noise, and I turn around, and I see this guy walking towards me very quickly. And so, of course, I panic a little bit, so I finally, you know, I'm fumbling with the keys. I finally manage to get the door open. I kick it open, and all the light from inside comes flooding out, and the alarm system starts, you know, beeping. And I turn around to look, and I see him immediately do a 180 and walk in the other direction. I'm like, are you serious? I was about to get robbed or hurt or, you know, worse, I don't know, right in front of my own home, in front of my door, in front of a playground, in front of all of these other houses. How does that make sense? How are you that bold? It's crazy. So no, I never felt safe in the U.S. But here, no, I feel safe anywhere I go at any time. I love it. The safety here is incredible.
Yeah, anything can happen in any country, but in
This is true.
general, yes.
Yeah, comparatively, yeah. No, it's a lot safer here. The crime rates in the U.S. are continuing to rise pretty much across the board. So it's sad, but
And actually, with all these political things, how do you feel? It will be more worse, more not safe in US in the future, or how, like, your feeling?
I think if things continue in the direction that they're going, it's going to get very bad very quickly. Yeah. You know, it's only been getting worse. You know, when I first moved to the area that I grew up in, it was very, again, family friendly, very, very clean, very, you know. By the time I graduated high school, you could be walking through the mall, you know, on the top floor and look downstairs and there would be a gang, you know, like stabbing each other.
Okay.
I mean, it just went from, you know, one of the best locations to one of the almost seemingly overnight. So it's, I don't know. I don't know. I hope it doesn't get worse, but I think it's going to get worse.
Anything else you want to mention except safety?
Is repeated a lot, and the saying is that Egypt is a country of beggars. And that's incredibly insulting. And I think it's false. And I think that you can't take all the bad apples and just assume we're all the same. Egypt is a country of incredibly sturdy, proud, hardworking people. Are there some weak people? I think anywhere you go in the world, you're always going to find people that, you know, but don't you dare belittle us that way. That's an unfair statement.
And what about the? Do you see the streets cleaner than before?
In many locations, yes. Yeah.
Because this is also like a stereotype that it's dirty.
That it's dirty, yeah. It depends on where you go. There are some places that are still very, very tight, very old. People don't really have that sophistication, and they're just so stressed out. You know, when you put that much pressure on people, they just stop caring. So there are locations like that, yes. But compared to when I was a kid and I used to come here, oh my gosh, it's sparkling clean compared to 20, 30 years ago. Yeah,
Okay.
completely different.
What the Egypt means for you today?
Egypt today for me equates to long-term security.
Interesting.
Long-term security and long-term growth potential.
Yes, I feel the same.
I'm glad to hear that.
Maybe, like you said, you talk a little bit different, so maybe some word you learn like from a new word when you came here, what it was.
There's a word that I love that I'm so glad I learned, and I didn't know it before. The word is wid, il-wid, which basically means it's wow del, I think. And basically what it means is friendship. It means like true friendship, like the depth of friendship with loyalty, with fidelity. I mean, like just true friendship, right? Honesty, all of the things that you really expect from a high standard perspective. I love that word. And so when you speak to older people, sometimes when it's somebody that's imparting wisdom and they talk about marriage, for example, they'll often say to, a man or a woman, they'll say, choose someone who will yuwaddik or something like that. I can't remember the exact, I'm sorry if I'm butchering the language. Yuwaddak, that's the word, yuwaddak. Yuwaddik means to take you somewhere. Yuwaddak.
So it's like your close friend, yes?
Yeah, so somebody who is going to be truly your friend first and love you honestly, unconditionally.
This is a
and
good
respect
advice,
you.
by the way, yes.
Right?
Yeah, because you need to spend all your life, like every day, with the person, because love, it's from the beginning, yes, and then you face in the real life.
Yeah, exactly.
So it's better
love, the
to
passion,
be friends. Yes.
Yeah, exactly.
It's
Love
more
and passion are not something that lasts.
Mm-hmm.
To love someone, I believe, is to put in the effort for someone, to consider them. It's not a feeling. And so absolutely, I think that is it's the best possible advice
Yeah,
that one can give.
I agree. So I never thought I would in Egypt.
I never thought I would. Oh, that's a good one. I don't know. I never thought I would move to Egypt.
Oh, yes,
Period.
it's a good one.
Yeah. 30 years of my life, no way. I would have never considered moving to Egypt. And then all of a sudden, in my 30s, it was like, you know what? There's no better place to be.
I feel you, yes. Even I'm not Egyptian. Somewhat I feel same. Top 3 places you love in Egypt.
Top places?
3 places.
Top 3 places. Ooh, the Red Sea. Really anywhere on the Red Sea.
Red Sea, Red Sea,
Red Sea, Red Sea, Red Sea. Luxor also is
Okay.
beautiful. Maybe Siwa and Aswan will be the next 2 on the list. I haven't been to either yet, but I'm expecting that one of them will make that list.
Me too. I never been there.
Yeah?
I want to go. Yeah.
Well, let's organize a
Yes.
trip. Let's
Yes,
do it.
Let's do. Still hot now. Now hot. Yes, we need to
Yeah,
go.
winter.
It's in the desert. Yeah,
Yeah.
so it will be hot. Okay. I guess that's it. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
It
Thank
was
you for having
very
me.
nice.
It was very nice. This is lovely.
I hope your experience will help other people, especially Egyptians, who may be thinking about to come back,
I hope so too.
but have some concerns. So
Oh,